Welcome to New Horizon channel. In this program we will provide you with the latest and hottest issues from the past 24 hours. Today we will discuss the recent developments in Ukraine's summer offensive. Observers suggest that the offensive has been delayed for 9 months due to obstacles in transporting Western weapons to Ukraine. This has created unfavorable conditions as the muddy and challenging terrain begins to affect Ukraine's offensive. Despite Ukraine's military claims of regaining control over some areas previously held by Russian forces, the progress has been less than anticipated by political and military leaders. The recent change in weather, and even the significant military assistance from the United States this week, may not be enough to counter the challenges brought by the changing seasons. Strategic analysts from the Center for Security Studies in the Netherlands believe that Ukraine's chances of reclaiming significant and important territories this summer are diminishing. The breaking of the land connection between Russia and the Crimean Peninsula, which is almost turning into a swamp, was a crucial objective of the offensive. However, the summer offensive in Ukraine has not been entirely successful. Cutting off the land connection between Russia and Crimea at the Krum Peninsula would have been a major victory for Ukraine. Additionally, establishing a corridor towards the city of Mariupol, currently under Russian control in the Zaporizhia province, was another main objective of the counteroffensive. Unfortunately, according to The Guardian, General Valery Gerasimov, the commander-in-chief of Ukraine's armed forces, confirmed that Russian forces are increasing pressure at the Avdiivka front line in the east, while there have been some advancements by the Ukrainian army in the south. He further added that the enemy is intensifying their efforts to penetrate our defenses and surround Avdiivka. The enemy has deployed a large number of armored vehicles, aircraft and artillery. According to reports from the Ukrainian combat forces in the south, the Russians are continuously launching assaults to gain control of the cities of Avdiivka and Kupiansk. Despite the challenging conditions, our forces in Kupiansk are maintaining their defensive posture in the toughest circumstances. The Ukrainian army has made certain advancements towards the Azov Sea, with a 400-meter advance in a southwest direction from the town of Vulahirsk in the Dnipro region. According to TASS news agency of Russia at the United Nations, Vasily Nebenzia recently stated that the European Union, EU, has been continuously providing military support to the Kiev government for several years to confront Moscow. Ambassador Nebenzia emphasized that the EU has undermined its own position by intensifying support by providing a range of offensive weapons and modern military equipment to Ukraine. This action violates the EU's commitments not to provide military assistance to conflict areas. On October 20th, Alex Zaf, deputy spokesperson for the Russian Ministry of Foreign Affairs, stated that the secret transfer of the M1 Abrams main battle tanks by the US to Ukraine shows that Washington is not seeking a diplomatic solution to the current conflict. Russian diplomats also asserted that this action will not reverse the current military situation and will not prevent Moscow from achieving its objectives in its special military plan in Ukraine. On the same day, the Russian Foreign Ministry called on Western countries to immediately cease their support for Ukraine and begin negotiations based on the existing reality. On October 17th, the U.S. confirmed that all 31 M1 Abrams tanks produced by the U.S. had arrived in Ukraine. Major General Martin O'Donoghue, spokesperson for the U.S. Army Command in Europe and Africa, stated that Ukrainian armed forces training with U.S. forces in Germany had returned to Ukraine. The U.S. also confirmed the delivery of the ATACMS missile system to Ukraine. Ukrainian armed forces have used the ATACMS system provided by the U.S. to carry out attacks and destroy 9 Russian helicopters in eastern Ukraine. Ukraine announced a series of attacks on airports within the territory controlled by Russia in Ban and Lugansk. The use of ATACMS may force Russia to redeploy its air force and withdraw some aircraft to more distant airports. Despite the limitations in range imposed by the provided ATACMS systems, which only have a range of 165 kilometers, some variants have a range of up to 300 kilometers. David, an associate professor at Cornell University, stated that the ATACMS system will bring certain areas north of Krum, currently under Russian control, into Ukraine's attack range. However, they will have limited impact. According to CB, the limitations on quantity and range imposed by the U.S. on ATACMS provided to Ukraine mean that the KF will not be able to attack a large number of targets for an extended period. However, this system will allow Ukraine to attack targets that were previously beyond their capabilities. Meanwhile, Ukrainian presidential advisor Mikhailo Podolyak stated in a Channel TF interview that if they had received these weapons earlier, Ukraine could have had better defense capabilities and conducted a counteroffensive. He mentioned that the delivery of weapons to Ukraine was delayed for 3 to 4 months due to logistical issues and waiting for the approval of Western countries, which seriously hindered Ukraine's defense capabilities. He also criticized the slow response of Western countries to Ukraine's requests for weapon supplies after the country regained control of part of the Kherson region in the south in the autumn of 2022. He said that this delay extended everything by 6 to 9 months. Military intelligence agency leader of Ukraine, Kirill Budanov, also made a similar comment, saying that Ukraine's offensive did not go as planned but did not provide specific reasons. The Russian Ministry of Defense reported on October 20th that a total of Ukraine's targets have been destroyed since the beginning of the conflict, including helicopters, unmanned aerial vehicles, anti-aircraft missiles, tanks, and other military vehicles, multiple rocket launchers, artillery, and specialized military vehicles. The information you provided seems to be discussing the ongoing conflict between Russia and Ukraine. On October 20th, the Ukrainian Ministry of Defense claimed that Russia has lost numerous tanks since the beginning of the conflict. However, these claims have not been independently verified. According to the Ukrainian General Staff on October 20th, Ukrainian defense forces successfully repelled Russian attacks in the cities of Kherson and Dnipro provinces. The fighting has been intense, with Ukrainian air forces carrying out 7 attacks on Russian military positions and 4 attacks on their air defense systems. Ukrainian missile units successfully hit a command post, an ammunition depot, and an electronic warfare station belonging to Russia. The conflict Russia and Ukraine remains tense in both the eastern and southern fronts. The Ukrainian military reports ongoing clashes along the front lines, and Ukrainian air forces have been conducting airstrikes to disrupt Russian military concentrations. The strategic town of Abdk in the Donetsk province is of great significance to both Russia and Ukraine. It is one of the last strategically important positions under Ukrainian control in the region and is located close to the areas controlled by Russia in the Donetsk region. Currently, Ukraine controls the town, and this poses a challenge to Russian defense lines in the east and suburban areas of Donetsk. Russia is making efforts to capture the town to relieve pressure on their forces in the region. In terms of political implications, the upcoming elections in Russia could be a motivating factor for Russia's desire to secure a military victory in order to gain domestic support. Abdk's capture would demonstrate a successful military campaign for the Kremlin. Ukrainian military spokesperson Alexander Tubin stated that the fate of Abdk is crucial for Russia, and that there are no other choices for them. Since the beginning of the conflict, Russia did not give much importance to the role of this town, but currently, controlling or protecting Avdiivka has become one of their top priorities. Western analysts believe that Russia's efforts to control Abdk will face significant challenges. Even if they haven't breached the Ukrainian defense line yet, Ukraine still holds the advantage. The location of Abdk, deep within the Ukrainian-controlled territory and about 10 kilometers from the areas under Russian control, creates an uncertain situation for Russia. The shorter and flatter the front lines for Russia, the better. Therefore, they need to capture this town to reduce pressure on their units based in Donetsk. In conclusion, the ongoing conflict between Russia and Ukraine remains tense, with both sides carrying out military operations. The control of the strategic town of Abdk is seen as crucial for both parties, but Ukraine currently maintains the upper hand. Russia's efforts to capture the town may face challenges due to the strong defensive positions of Ukrainian forces. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe.